I do want to be associated with this case for whatever weird reason, but I can't incriminate myself. I'm not willing to incriminate myself and say that I actually did this. However, I can talk about this idea that I was present. And then if somebody asks me if I get too deep into this case to where people actually take me seriously and I want to back out and I say, you know what, this is no longer fun. I don't know what I got myself into. I can just say, oh, well, I never said, or I can get an attorney and say, well, I never said that I did it. I just said I was there. I was with her. There could have been, I was walking down the street and I heard something. It could be anything. You know how attorneys can flip it. Um, Second thing he said was, it's very important for me that everyone knows that I love her very much, that her death was unintentional and that it was an accident. Again, this is admission, not a confession. Uses present tense language to say, I love her very much. In August of 27 of 06, 06 represent, class of 06 represent, you know how it is. The September 4, 2006, the September 4, 2006 issue of People magazine claims they have an exclusive jailhouse interview with John Mark Karr. The problem is People did not personally interview him. Instead, they interviewed the Thailand authorities who told them what Karr said. So the statements we're about to analyze are from a second-hand source. People reports that Karr made the following statements on the death. So the Ramseys feel their daughter was brutally murdered and she wasn't. It looks like that, but she wasn't. I want them to hear the truth. I need closure and her family needs closure. All of us have gone through enough pain. First, recognize he doesn't confess. Again, he states that JonBenét was not brutally murdered, but he does not tell us who killed her. The autopsy, which showed signs of that she was brutally murdered, would seem to contradict this statement. Karr stated that he wanted the Ramseys to hear the truth, but he was yet to tell the truth about what he knows. The fact that he needs closure still does not make him a killer. A lot of people fall into the case like some level of closure. And then on to the DNA test. The DNA might not match, but you can't trust that test. Why are you fighting so hard to be attached to a case that you have nothing to do with? Now we have Karr starting to back. Oh, there it is. I don't think I want to get involved in this. Starting to back away from his admission to that he killed JonBenét. DNA is one of the most accurate forensic tools that we have. That's true. If he left DNA at the crime scene, we should be able to match him. However, if he was not in the Ramsey house, then this DNA is not going to be at the crime scene. He has probably heard the authorities say that they have unidentified DNA from the crime scene. And so he knows that it's not his. So he comes out with a statement that this DNA might not match his because the test is unreliable. So I got to keep this lie up. And try to stay close. August 28 of 06, Boulder District Attorney announced that they were dropping the charges against John Mark Karr in the JonBenét Ramsey murder. It turns out that the DNA did not match his DNA. We knew it was going to happen because Karr, in his own words, said that the DNA might not match, and thus it didn't. Two things that bother me. First, and this is coming from Mark McClish. He says, first, the Boulder DA did not listen to what Karr was saying. He absolutely needed to be checked out. However, when he does not confess to a killing and only alludes that he might have done it, don't be so quick to want to charge him with her murder. They could have left him in California to face the child PO charges while they gathered more evidence. Which is true, and that's what I'm saying. John Ramsey was mad at the Boulder police for a myriad of things, saying that they weren't doing their job. But it's like, they need to stop and slow down and make sure that before we bring anybody in, this is a legitimate source, because this person could definitely be lying, and we've wasted a lot of resources chasing down somebody that it sounds plausible, but that's not it. Secondly, one of the best defenses one of the best defenses is the defense. One of the best defenses a defendant can have is an alibi. While the crime was being committed, the defendant shows evidence that he was somewhere else and not at the crime scene. So why the heck are you telling us that you were there? It has been reported that the police never interviewed his family prior to his arrest and extradition to the U.S. Most people know where they were during the holiday season. Karr's family has always maintained that Karr was with them when JonBenét was killed. Basic police work would be able to anticipate this alibi and interview the family before charging someone with a crime. And they would only jump to conclusions in charging somebody if there was deference being paid to somebody else and saying, we need to look at this. Like Patsy would say, you need to go out and look for the killer. What are you looking at me for? And John would be like, y'all need to stop looking at us. You wasting all this time and resources looking at us. Y'all need to be out there going and looking for the killer. On July 9th of 2008, Mary Lacey, the Boulder District Attorney, announced that recent developments in touch DNA technology had cleared all of the Ramsey family. DNA from an unknown male was found on her undergarments. I'm puzzled as to how Mary Lacey came to this conclusion, that this evidence exonerates the Ramsey family. The new DNA evidence only proves two things. That an unknown male was perhaps present at the crime scene. We did not know where the DNA came from, and that the DNA does not belong to any members of the Ramsey family. This evidence does not exonerate the Ramseys. It does not prove that they were not present or they were not involved, or they don't know who killed JonBenét. And that's very true, because there's so much DNA in the crime scene, which you allowed to happen. There's so much DNA in the crime scene, we can't just rule out that it was John. But it's like, we should be able to find Gary Oliva's, John Mark Karr. We should be able to find Chris Wolf. We should be able to find that DNA in the house, somewhere in there. If this man walked all over the house for 5 hours before y'all got back, he touched something. He went upstairs. He went into a room. He checked out the other rooms. He did whatever. And then he came back down to the basement and planned his great escape. He touched the suitcase. He touched everything. We don't need to just be concerned with what's on the body. We need to be concerned with everything that he touched. And then we can pull samples off of that. That should be where we are. But, anyways, that's the video. We have one or two more sessions of this, and then we'll wrap it up. But until next time, take it easy.